And although we never went to Fairhaven, which was the school closer up the hill to 73 Pelican Drive, which was close to the temple, I say this because of Julian's father, out of respect for him. He was very close to the temple. We studied at Fairhaven. Well, I did at that time. I used to go there. We had this thing when we were studying those days. Studying at home wasn't good enough. If you were really serious about studying, you had to go to school to study.
At night.
This was now in the middle of the night. So you went to school in the middle of the night to study, and you studied till 2 o'clock in the morning. Then you walked home a distance of 5 kilometers in the middle of the night, chased by every dog in the distance, until you got home at 2 o'clock in the morning. And when my father was getting up to go to work at 3 o'clock in the morning, I was walking in the door, coming back from studying. This was every day of the year. So that then meant you were serious about what you were trying to achieve. So studying at home was not good enough. Anyway, so we studied at Fairhaven. This is now in primary school. Forget about high school. This is now primary school we're talking about. So then we went from Protea School, outside the trees, under the trees. Those days, we had 2 secondary schools in our area, which was, I lived in Unit 1, which was Havenside, Chatsworth. My daughters hate it when I say I come from Chatsworth, when they were born in Chatsworth. They snobs, but anyway, that's fine. And Julian lived in Unit 2. Otherwise, you'd go to the school down the road in Havenside, which was Southlands High. So my sister, unfortunately, had to go to Southlands High. I got accepted to Chatsworth High. So, luckily for me, of course, I had above average marks, thankfully, and I was a good sports person. Of course, Julian was in Chatsworth High as well, and our milkman, here, I'll tell you the story of the milkman later on. And of course, you are aware we're here to celebrate Julian's 60th birthday. His birthday is over, but we're still going to celebrate anyway. So I will formally welcome you again just now and say a few words. So perhaps we can have the happily married couple come in first. Make a grand appearance.
When your legs don't work like they used to before, and I can't sweep you off of your feet. We'll be loving you till we're 70.
25 years later, I'm sure you agree this will make a wonderful couple. My name's Anand Chetty, for those of you who don't know me. What of you don't know me? But you might have heard of me. I'm, as the younger generation say, Julian's bestest friend. I'm your local import from Durban. I've been brought in from Durban to be the program director. They blackmailed me when they thought I might not be coming and said that I'm the program director for this evening. So Julian and I are the best friends from about probably more than 50 years ago. We grew up together and we've remained best friends now for well over 50 years. And Jeffrey, again, a little bit later, and Harvey, and of course always from our solution and raising the family. So anyway, a little more about that later on. But again, as I said, it's my pleasure to welcome you all to this evening's function. I think we're going to have a great evening. celebrating Julian's birthday, and again, as I said, the anniversary as well. As is traditional, always, we will open this evening's function with a prayer, and literally it's going to be said by the host. There it is.
الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والصلاة والسلام على أشرف الأنبياء والمرسلين، سيدنا ونبينا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. اللهم اجعل ثوابنا ما قرأنا من كلامك العزيز هدية واسلة ورحمة منك نازلة، نقدم ثوابها إلى روح نبيك وحبيبك محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. اللهم اجعل القرآن لهم في القبر.
To be present at your beautiful birthday party. May Allah always embrace you with His love and blessings. You are and always have been a super special brother to us. Our birthdays are one day apart, and that makes us even more closer. I have beautiful memories of us growing up in 73 Pelican Drive in our two-bedroom family home in Chatsworth, Durban. The 5 siblings shared one room, one bed, one bathroom, one toilet, and there was no fights. We were never late for school. There was always a race for the comic in the Sunday Tribune, and Jeff let out the secret the other day. He used to wait for my dad to come home at 1 o'clock in the morning and read the comic before us. So we all thought we read it first. Meanwhile, he read it at 1 o'clock in the morning. Jeff always won that race. I don't remember having an argument or fight with you when we were growing up. You're always calm, and you're always the peacemaker amongst our friends and siblings. You showed leadership qualities at such a young age and excelled in university and school, which made Amma and Dad so proud of you. Thank you for being a warm and loving uncle to our children, and an amazing brother-in-law to my husband Milan. Jules, you emulate Dad so perfectly when it comes to your caring, love, and attention to your children and Dilly. Thank you so much for that quality. You give 100% to them. Your love for books is amazing. I have to share this moment with all of you. Julian, Jeffrey, and Harvey, Anand, I don't know if you were there, were busy painting the little outbuilding that I had to live with when I married. So they were painting with my future husband. They couldn't find Julian. He wasn't painting, he was sitting on the floor reading old newspaper from under the lino. So there's our walking encyclopedia. Julian, blessings for great health and a blissful life ahead. I love you dearly, my brother, and pray to have you for many years, inshallah.
Guys, firstly, excuse the frog in the throat. Jerome? Jermaine, my apologies, that comes with a bit of age. Jermaine, could you possibly play around with the equalizer to try and get my voice to be a little bit normal? Great stuff. Guys, if only you guys know what it's like to stand here to say a few words, you won't believe it. It's like doing an oral examination with all these teachers around us. By the way, our high school English teacher is also present. So I better watch my P's and Q's, otherwise I'll be in for 6 of the best. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Good evening, namaste. It is indeed a great honor and privilege for me to be asked by my sister Dilshad to say a few words on behalf of the Khan family. To all his friends and working colleagues, he's known as Julian. To his loving Govender family, is known as Jules. To the Khan family is known as Kamil. Same individual we're speaking about. To my late mother, he wasn't known as anything else that I've mentioned. Your family referred to you as Jules. My late mother referred to you as Jewel. And that is God's truth. Kamil wasn't only a future son-in-law or son-in-law to my late mom, he was more a son. And we, the sons, were quite envious about it because he did quite a bit for mom on a daily basis. Kamil, on behalf of the family, all those little chores and efforts and things and little things that you did for my late mom did not go by unnoticed. On behalf of my brothers and sisters, I'd like to take this opportunity of publicly saying thanks. Much, much appreciated. But then again, on the plus side for Kamil, that must have been his way. He wormed his way through the parents. You know, normally when you get the upper hand with your future mother-in-law, 3/4 of your battle is won. Kamil, 25 years. It's a lifetime. How you manage to cope with Dilshad, we'll have to discuss that privately. Kamil is not only a brother-in-law to us, he's more a brother to us. You know, I'm so fortunate to having him as a brother, note, brother, not in-law, in the family. Our speakers before did justice to whatever they've said. I don't have to repeat it. Kamil is a person of integrity, an honest human being. Sometimes I feel a bit too honest, a bit too straightforward. Guys, you know, I had 3 sons that matriculated at Woolhope High. And you guys as parents know what it is like when matric results come out. A day before the results comes out, I'll go up to Kamil. How's it, man? Please. How did Ashi do? A couple of years after that, how did Amir do? Lo and behold, I had to wait like all other parents. Mr. Jairam, I'm sure you can vouch for me. You guys get the results a day before. 2 weeks. And he kept it a complete secret from me. What I'm trying to say is, this is the type of person we're dealing with here. Even for us as family members, he would not break the rule. A rule and law to him, that's it. I'm not going to bend to suit anybody. Kamil, on behalf of Man and Shamira, that's not here tonight, they'd asked me to apologize. Man is not doing too well today. He picked up a bit of a cough and cold and things, so under those conditions he cannot travel. But his thoughts, their thoughts and yours are with you. And they wish you everything of the best for the next 6 years, inshallah. From all of us in the Khan family, we'd like to take this opportunity of saying everything of the best for the future. Just stay the way you are. Don't change, even if Didi tried to change you. You stay the person you are. I was asked by my wife not to speak too much. Now, as you guys know, we're 9 siblings. So I said, okay, I'll make it easy. 9 times 5, 5 minutes a person, 45. That should take us up to the main course, Azim. But since my wife requested, Kamil, I'd have to cut it short. I can stand here the whole night and speak about Kamil. But We're going to give others also a chance to speak about him. Jeff did a good job. His best friend Anand did it, as well as Kumari. Guys, thanks for being here with us. Kamil, thanks for being a part of our life. Thanks once again for the care you've shown towards my late mother. Especially in her sickness. Thanks. Thanks, everybody.
For some of you, I'm a man of very few words. So I'll keep this short and sweet. If I could use 3 words to explain my father, it would be firstly, selfless. Because he always puts others first, no matter the situation or the relationship. He derives his satisfaction solely from the happiness of others. His gratitude knows no bounds. Secondly, to be knowledgeable. The man is like, as you heard earlier, a walking encyclopedia. Especially while watching soccer. He timelessly offers his advice, whoever seeks his wisdom and guidance, whether it be family, friend or colleague. And believe me, I've needed his guidance on many an occasion. Thirdly, would be loving. Because it's actually a cliche, but for him, he loves his family very much. And they say chivalry is dead. I beg to differ. My dad is a true gentleman and genuine conversationalist. 60 is a big number, although he doesn't look a day older than 40. At times, I look older than him.
Most times.
Depending on my beard and hair. I've been mistaken for the dad on a couple of occasions whenever I've taken my brother out. I take it as a compliment. Because you would always look for the positives in life. May Allah Ta'ala grant you many healthy years, inshallah. If I can become half the man you are, I would consider myself truly grateful and blessed. Hope everyone enjoys the night and do justice for the food, please.
Just correct me. You know, I listened to Jeff early on, and I don't know whether I'm correct, Jeff. Did Julian do physics in school?
No.
I taught him physics after the trip.
Yeah, amazing, and he became a physics teacher. There's something that Jeff also mentioned about the walking encyclopedia. It's amazing, you sit with him in the office area, any topic. Sometimes there's a history topic, not about Zuma or something, but we're just talking about the Franco-Prussian War or something about the French Revolution, but Julian will be talking about it. So the knowledge is there, and it's always been there. I watched one of the slides just now, and they were wishing him happy birthday. I think it's 57th birthday. In a few years' time, they're going to be saying, happy grandpa. Not going to be daddy anymore, he's going to be happy grandpa. Now, there were some incidents in our career for me, for the last 35, 37 years. They were good, the bad, the ugly. But I think I'll leave the last 2 because I might get some people very angry. So, Julian, one amazing quality. The straightforwardness is there. If you get to him Monday morning and if he's busy in his office and if the door is closed, the door is closed. You can stand and wait as a parent, the deputy principal, the inspector, whoever it is. If he's completing his task, he will complete it and then he will come out. And I think that in itself tells us that he must complete whatever he has started. When I first saw Julian in the management position as an HOD, I could see he would write on his hand dates and all over those things. But I didn't realize those were like his reminders. Only recently he got over that because he had a PA now. The PA is sitting next to me, and Jeff is worried. He had some clips of him on the computer. So he gets Manny to read all the emails that you send. Julian, we had some tough times, we had some very, very good times, and some amazing trips we had. And sometimes we wonder why Dilshad played volleyball so well. We had a trip going to East London, I think. Dilshad, you went on the trip? I don't know at that time whether it was eyeing Dilshad or whatever it is, but I know she was really outstanding. And if I can recall, Dilshad also, I don't know whether she was on duty near the tuck shop when she was in Metric, I'm not too sure, but I know Julian used to be going on ground duty when she was around the tuck shop area. Myself, Mr. Hussain, Dr. Vijay Govender, we all got along at the same time over 35 years of, friendship. And we had these amazing trips to Cape Town, TASA meetings, to East London, TASA meetings. We had this amazing excursions to Ochuran, Cape Town, East London on that yearly, 1 year they come to tea, 1 year we go to East London. So all in all, that leadership quality built around that. And you don't have to have somebody to teach you these things. You just learn it. And I think Julian did that. He learned that, and that is why Jeff was able to tell us in a nutshell that how well this public school is, Woolhope Secondary School. The week we were closing, we had two people from National. They called themselves the Auditor General. They were probably half our age, or even younger. They were around 25 years old. And I met one of them, and I had a chat with him. He said, I think we made a mistake, man. This is a Model C school. It's not a public school. So I said, what do you mean? He said, no, the grounds look neat and cars are parked properly. The learners are not around, they were, well, exams are over. So I said, no, this is a public school. And it is basically 60 to 70% COSA learners at the school. And he was amazed. And they only spent an hour at the school, and they left. So rightfully, I think Jeff said that we don't manufacture at the school. We work hard. And it is because of leadership that you have at the school. Mr. Govender, he's the manager of the school. I mean, he doesn't have to be at school because he's the manager. But when you set things in motion, those things are carried forward. And it only is because of the leadership that you have. Teachers moan, teachers groan. But Mr. Govender meets us halfway. And things get done. And that's a good quality in there. That is a very, very good quality. Jeff, there's one thing that I want to say, that I lost my dad last year in November. And he sat with me in my office, and we had a long 2 to 3 hours chat. You could see that he really misses his dad. You could feel it. And there are discussions that we have in the office, in my office especially, and we start talking about those days. And they're not any different. The dads of those days were those dads. Sit, 5 o'clock, close the windows, you're inside the house. Am I right, Nico? So we stressed on that. That is why we are difficult with our kids nowadays. It's just hard to control them, but we try. But it's hard to get what we had those days. And if you look at the 50s, okay, here's the late 50s and the early 60s, the ending that you have, you'll find nowadays that even the people of the Eastern Cape, especially those of us that go to marking, they frequently ask questions, why do we place so much emphasis on education? And I'm speaking for myself now, that is the key. Other things come after that, and I think Julian has done that to his kids as well. He placed it on education, and they are successful in what they are doing. And Julian, you still got a long way more, because your small one, he reminded me of one of the photographs that you were, I think 6 or 7 years old. He looks identical to you. Julian, you got, I would say, 5 more years with us at school. Enjoy those 5 years. And I always believe that you need to leave the school in good hands when you leave, so that all these photographs that we see that pertaining to Woolhope Secondary School is carried to the 2030, 2040. From my family, my wife, who is also a staff member, Zora, my 3 kids, I want to wish you well. And Kashif is right, 60 is only a number, so the next time when we see you, you're not going to be looking like 40, but maybe we'll see you without any hair. Everything of the best.
The slideshow remind me of my own background. Strict father, the one who was the breadwinner, mother stayed at home, the carer, the disciplinarian was the father. So in that sense, I looked at it and it also reminded me of my own upbringing. And when I first met Julian in 82, and we got to know each other. He was teaching physical science, I was teaching mathematics, the 2 best subjects in the world. We kind of connected, and we've known each other since then. We saw each other at University of Durban as well, but we, from afar, you were with your group, I was our group, but it also rang a bell with your big beard during that time. Okay, and we got on very well. I think what made us also, we were young, we were very keen on learning new things. So whenever there was an opportunity, the principal, we had a strict principal, Mr. Pandey, and then Mr. Jagdas came along and he gave us the opportunity of sitting in the timetable, and we would go till 3, 4 in the morning so that the timetable is ready. And some of our ex-pupils are here in the 80s, mid to late 80s, you are here. And we used to do that so that the timetable would be ready, and Julian would be one of them, and then he will go to the sick room and have a snooze and come back. But we will continue to make sure that we did it. You don't get that in this day and age. And Teachers Association of South Africa, we got the opportunity. It was a very small branch here in Port Elizabeth, just the high school and the primary school. We got the opportunity of working there. We had Mr. Ramdas, and we worked with him. That's Mr. Jairam, Richard mentioned, Cape Town, East London, etc. That was very nice, very wonderful, because we really learned a lot. And one of those incidents was the 60th anniversary of the Teachers Association of South Africa in Durban. And we had a wonderful time. And that's how I met Kumari, Julian's sister. I won't say what else happened there, but it was really wonderful. With his nephew, etc., Tyron. And when the senior people left, like Mr. Ramdas and the others left, we took over the Teachers Association of South Africa, Eastern Cape. Julian was the chairperson, and I was the secretary. And we managed that organization until 1992. In 1990, SATU was formed. There was a window period of 2 years, so we existed side by side. And in 1992, TASA disbanded. So that was really wonderful. We're looking at how we used to get along. Always chat. I don't think we had any differences. If we had, it would be fine. There were times when he was courting Dilchard and I was his counsel, to help him along, etc., to get through some of the issues, etc., around that time. But you work through it. And when I left the school in 1995 to move on, we always kept in touch. In fact, Woolhope is very dear to me, and we've had lots of chats about the school over the years. I was sitting in his office. In fact, Mr. Jairam said that, when somebody goes there and they have to wait for him, when I go there, I go in. We have that kind of connection, so we want to make sure, I'm using the we so that we all know where we come from. We want to make sure, as I said, we had a chat about 2 or 3 weeks ago about leaving a legacy behind. And there's lots of challenges in our country, and you want to leave structures, and he's good at that. We're very well organized, good at that. And it actually typifies him, because when Mr. Jairam, when Richard mentioned writing all of that, he's all over his table, those notes, etc. Very well organized, and I admire that. We always chat about the old times, but even we have to look at now, because for our children now and our grandchildren, we want to have a secure service. Julian, so well done. I wish you and Dilshad all the best. Just, you know, he and Dilshad, well, when I got married, he was one of my speakers at my wedding, 1988. And he and Dilshad, they came for my 40th birthday, they came for my 50th birthday, the christening of my granddaughter. So, we go back a long time. So, all the best to you and your family as you go. But remember, we are pals, and we will continue to make a difference to our society. Thank you very much.
Fellow students, ladies and gentlemen. I would like to endorse the sentiments expressed by all the speakers this evening. Anand, who has given us a history of his relationship with Julian, and Jeff taking us back way, way into the 1950s, as well as Richard talking about our escapades whilst we were still young teachers, and I having a lot of hair. My relationship with Julian has been the same as it were with what Nico has said, what Richard has said, and what everybody else has said. There were the good times, the bad times, and the ugly times. But yeah, somehow or the other, I missed this relationship that took place between Dilshad and Julian. I don't know where I was.
Missing in action.
Yeah, I think that's why it happened. But nevertheless, it has been a wonderful relationship that they have enjoyed. On behalf of my family, I would like to first of all congratulate Dilshad and Julian on your anniversary. May Allah Ta'ala bless you, and may He grant you many, many more years of blessed married life. I don't know about the children. And Julian, may the Almighty once again grant you many more blessed years of celebrating, as Jeff has said, your life. This is a celebration of life. And so, enjoy it. And God bless you as well. And Mr. Khan, may I just remind you, sir, the word guys, G-U-Y-S, in the Gujarati language, the word guys means cows. I don't remember teaching you that word.
Who has a zest for life, who continues to extend himself, to upkeep himself in order to benefit others, that is friends, colleagues, students, our community, and most importantly, our family. By virtue of a father, a husband, a brother, uncle, or a friend, he supersedes that element. He has created fond memories and continued to do so. Moments that we as a family reflect on timelessly. Precious friendships that are treasured lifelong. So when we say sugar and spice and all things nice, that is how he continuously strives to create that comfort in our lives, and at times to our detriment. It is evident he is a family man, and that is reflective of the video shoot. Thanks, Jeff. Do you know, for all our many years, Jules still takes us all to the doctors. Even I do not go without him. I do not do any shopping without him. He knows my grocery cupboard better than I do. I do not know the prices of basic items. I never know what the price of eggs, sugar, milk, bread is. I wouldn't know if it's on special. I stand in an aisle and I give him a call to ask him, the eggs for 60 is this price. Is it a special? I honestly don't know. So what can a woman ask for? What more can a woman ask for? So today, it is our 25th year wedding anniversary as well, and I would like to state emphatically that my ROI, return on investment, is a resounding success, and may it continue. As they state in economics, you need to know when is the bullish period, or when is the bearish period. You need to know when to buy shares, or when to sell your shares. Jules knows it all. So his shares with me is very high. So they say to have a balanced work life and family life, you need to make certain that your appraisal at home is the same or even better than at work. So my appraisal at work runs like this. And that is your output of your work for the period. So my appraisal at work, we call it performance development in my working career. It's called improvement needed. You can be a good. You can be very good. You can exceed expectation, or you can be exceptional. If I assess Jules as a father and a husband, I would rate him as follows. Respect, exceptional. Integrity, exceptional. Stewardship, exceptional. Excellence, exceptional. And all those attributes are values of life. Therefore, it makes him an exceptional father, husband, and a person. He has his moments, believe you me, and might I mention, he tends to be extremely moody at times. And if I sense he is moody, I will announce that I sense he is moody. I'm going upstairs. By the time I come downstairs, that attitude needs to have changed. And believe you me, it works. I tend not to like moody.
Echoes in the audience.
Everyone knows his passion for soccer, specifically Man United. Yeah, I feel the same. And I need to tell you a story. There's many stories with Man United matches in my household. So at times when Man United is playing, we are well aware that they are playing. Earlier at times, we will all go to our rooms while the boys watch the soccer. At times it tends to become very out of order, ruly, and then Alia will SMS me to my room to say, Mom, I can't take this anymore. I think we need to exit the premises. And so we do. And then there is the aftermath of the matches. So when Man United not win, I know we're going to get a call. And I will make certain I pick the phone up. Because my husband is not in a good state of mind. And the language for the day. So I take the call before he does. So the one day, Munira phones. And that is due to her father's doing. So I pick up the phone, I answer, and I put down the phone. She phones again. I put down the phone. I get into my car, I drive to Yasin's house, and I explain to them that it's not good for my husband's health. And I add, might that be the last time anyone give him a call? I don't know if he knows about it.
I don't know about it.
No, he doesn't. So I had to make myself loud and clear for the sake of his health. And at times when Man United is playing, I'm in my room saying a little prayer, hoping that Man United win, specifically for his state of health. Because at times I think he's going to have a heart attack. That's how bad it is.
Sorry, already had one.
Sorry, say about.
But all said and done, Jules is my crown jewel, as he may have mentioned. He is my crown jewel of my life. He is the wind beneath my wings. I have said it before and I will say it again. Many a times I tell him how fortunate he is to be married to me. I will stand in that mirror before I leave for work to make certain I am perfectly attired to go to work, and I'll turn around and tell him how fortunate you are to be married to me. But in actual fact, it is I who's extremely fortunate to be part of his life and that of our family. Please allow me to declare my admiration and my love for him. May the Almighty grant him good health, many years filled with love, laughter, happiness, and barakah, inshallah. Thank you.
Well said. See, now I know why I don't support any soccer team. There's a lot to be said for the metrosexual, I think. Anyway, so I went to this municipal.
That my wife's shoes are big. She's got big feet. Big shoes. Being honest now. So it's difficult to follow big feet and big shoes. And my bedroom is full of shoes, by the way. Talking about bedrooms and things, I met someone, went to the Wilderfeest in Kirkwood, and we met this guy, you meet people and you talk. So we were chatting about bedrooms and spaces in bedroom cupboards. So he was complaining about his wife's always declaring that she doesn't have enough space in the bedroom. And he was trying to tell me how much space in the cupboards, And I said, you look just like, the space looks just like my space. One space only for everything and one space at the bottom. The rest is her space. So you can understand why she looks good every day. You need a space for all that stuff that goes into getting ready. And I'm sure the ladies in the house will acknowledge it, and all the husbands and partners will acknowledge that is a fact of life, that is a proven fact of life. Nico would say it's axiomatic, you don't need to prove it, it's given.
Self-evident.
And no one's going to prove it. So all the young, future Pharaohs, newly married, you're the latest, you're going to find that out the hard way. You already know it. So your father didn't build enough space, there's not enough, the father didn't build enough space for you. Enough for your wife. So, I think that's just something light-hearted that came to mind, and something else that I want to talk, just something light-hearted as well. Maybe not light-hearted when you look at it now, but now we can think of it light-hearted. Jeff spoke about coming out here. I'm great at recording family memories. I always keep a file and a scrapbook and things. It's just the way my mind operates. I like doing that, and it keeps me keep me up to date with what's happening in my life. Jeff said he came out because he felt he needed to get out of Durban. Actually speaking, I got the letter. Funny, to me, we used to write letters those days. Can you remember, Azim, from India, the letters? And he wrote to me complaining about my dad. And what a tough guy this guy is, you know. He can't do this. Hafiz Ashraf, he can't do that, you can't do this. As long as you're living this, you're not going to get this key. So whenever we went back home, my father used to open the door for us. Even when we got married, my mother was fast asleep. He would open the door for us. He never gave us house keys. Up till the day he died. We were married couple, we had children. No, I'll open the door. He just wanted to know. I think it wasn't about interfering. He wanted to know that we went, we came back safe. He wanted to see us safe in our house. So we thought as interfering. And I'm sure there are young mothers, and maybe not so young mothers, who have the same approach. And if your children think that you're interfering, actually you're not interfering. You want to make sure that you are back in the comfort of home. And not worrying about whether you are in pieces somewhere, lying on the street somewhere, and get to hear about it 24 hours later. So I think he had that approach, which I think if we've come to that, we will still apply till we leave this earth as well. But so Jeff moaned about my dad, and I invited him to come here, like I knew a lot of people. Livingston is a great hospital. I've never been to the hospital. And we did that little bit of correspondence, and voila, the next year he came with his Audi, Alpha. And that's the start of his life in here as well. So how I got here is another story, but we won't get there. I thought when I drove to on holiday, we did a round trip. Boys normally do that once. You do the round. I don't know whether they do it anymore, but you did an RSA. You put a stamp on your car. You did the whole. We did it as bachelors, and we stopped in P one cold evening. We slept and ate somewhere on the beachfront, and we didn't really know P. And we said, okay, fine. I don't think we'll come back to the city in a while. The next year later, I was posted back here. So in my mind, I said, I'm not coming back to P, and we will drive on to Cape Town. We had a great time in Cape Town. And we went to Free State, the days when you couldn't stay over more than 24 hours. You sleep in a garage, you wash in a garage, in the toilet, in the back, whatever, and you move, you don't stick around, because then you had a 24-hour curfew, and you couldn't move. So when I got back home, I got a posting says that you've been posted to Woolhope. So I thought Woolhope was a new school somewhere in Chatsworth. And I looked further down, it said Port Elizabeth. So oh my God, that's a place I left a few weeks ago, So there again, it was fate that I would come back here. And it so happened that my good friend, when we shared this family talk, when I met the in-laws again, and I mentioned I'm married to the Khan family, and she said, you know what, many years ago in the 70s, my family, mum and dad and his wife, was down here as a young couple with his wife then, and they got lost somewhere in PE, and late Ibrahim Khan, father, the patriarch of the family, met them and said, come, you're going to come and sit and have lunch and sleep over and everything. And she remembered when I mentioned America, she said, Mr. Khan from Malabar, yes. So that is a little connection. And that is how the old people then live their lives. And we speak about my dad, etc. All the dads of that time of era lived that kind of lifestyle. They lived their lives through seeing other people happy. That is how they lived. They didn't live for their own good in life, etc. If they were happy, someone else was happy. If they were unhappy, someone else was unhappy. So their happiness and unhappiness was reflected in the way they saw other people grow around them, whether it was a stranger or whether it was someone close to them, a brother, sister, uncle, aunt, whatever the case is. So, those pictures there that you saw reflected that. And if you go through your family albums, you'll see all of that as well. I just want to touch on Yoshad's, it's our anniversary as well. And we also have to take hands for Siva and your wife, Shireen. It's the 22nd anniversary, so Siva and Shireen just... we didn't know that we shared the same date a few years later as well. So
Survivor Series.
We're happy that they're sharing their special time of their lives with us as well. And very similar as well, their starting of life was very similar to where we started as well. Very simple, very modest. That lunch cost 350 Rand, I think, at Royal Delhi. I think weddings cost 350,000 rand today. So inflation, you can measure the rate of inflation not by looking at the stock exchange and the rand value. Look at the cost of weddings and you figure out where we are today. You know, 300 rand, 300,000 rand. But, you know, it's inflation linked, we know that. It's not about happiness and things, it's got nothing to do with that. So we hope that we, with my wife next to me, and I have to say she's the love of my life. I got married at 35, by the way. I'm not saying this for all the young men you have to wait so long, but we... I can't get to your level, so we're not going to talk about your time. But we enjoyed our lives. You know, I enjoyed my life. I mean, we courted a long time ago, for a while. But I think my mom was really worried that I wasn't going to get married. So when Yoshad came along, I mean, my father, couldn't say anything. She said, you know what? Be happy that he's married. He found someone who got married, you know. Just be happy, you know. That was it. And my father, in his later years, used to say, you know, and you know, if your father says this to you, tell her that, you know what, you're just like my wife. That is the highest accolade you can get from your father. Because cooking, the hospitality, by the way, clone of late same, that is how they all were brought up. And you see my adopted family, the Khan family, all of them are like that, exactly like that, you know. But not only the adopted, my adopted, I think my in-laws as well, the people that married in family, Nasira, Rushan, all of them have adopted that lifestyle of giving and sharing with each other. We hope that our children and the extended family, the youngsters that are coming through, will learn from that. And I'm sure they will, because we did not spring up suddenly out of the earth and became what we are. We grew from watching. So the lesson is that you do all the things that you can do right now, the right way of life, etc. You teach your lessons to whoever can listen, or you behave as you should. And if your children are around and they'll listen and observe and learn, Nico said, learn from experience. That's how you learn. You don't go and sit in a book and learn these things. You learn from experience, watching your moms and that. Eventually, it'll be that way that they will end up being, not like you, they'll be someone else, but they'll learn some of the things that you also picked up from your forefathers. And I think that is where we are today. And I think we should be grateful for that ability that we have to share and pass this along as well. And lastly, I want to say this. Anand said that at his 60th birthday, that we are where we are here because of everyone that made a contribution to our lives. And Imran reminded me about late Ma Khan and what we used to do. Maybe I was scoring brownie points and doing at a time when she needed to go to the post office, Corsten Brands, and I would take her, and everyone was working, and I had a chance to do it. I think because I was working in a school where I could leave school early and get a pension money, and she would take me to Desai's, Mars Bazaar, and she'd buy groceries or whatever for the week, and buy biscuits, certain biscuits that she'd like. And the first thing she do was make a cup of tea, and there's biscuits be on the table, you know. And I'll treasure that so much, because it was a mum away from home for me, because you know I bought it for many years away from home. So I took that moments with my mother-in-law as precious, because you know you couldn't do it with your mom because your mom was so far away. So you do it with someone you love just as much, and you learn to love as much as you loved your own mother. So when we got married, Yoshan used to, you know, typical young mothers, young wives, would go home first to see what's in a pot. And sisters, Fiza will remind us of this. And Mrs. Khan would say, you know, you just get out of your pots or my pots and go and feed your husband. You're just a lazy so-and-so. And she say it as it is, you know. I don't know if anyone else got tongue lashings from Ma. She was a gentle lady, absolutely. But I think she had her own way of chastising in her own way. And you can see the way they've been brought up. And the grandchildren, the chastisement, it was in the quiet of the night perhaps, early hours of the morning, but it worked wonders. And I think I benefited from that because I married one of them.
You got some food.
Oh, don't talk about the food. The food was special. I think that is the other reason why I was quoting the old child as well. Mother's kitchen. Did you blame me? I was going away from home 1,000 miles. Okay. So, yeah, that is another good reason. But so she played a big part in my life. You saw the role my friends, my family, my mom and dad played in my early years. And I'm living as long here as I lived in Durban. I did a calculation. That's what, something like 36 years. 36, 7 years. So I'm actually longer here. So I qualify Imran as an honorary buy now. No more Durbanite. Yet Anand, you brought your weather here because it's hot here than it is in Durban. So something's happening out there in the world today. Everything is swapping around. So people contribute to your life, you know. And I'm looking at everyone. Look at our niece there. I was like a surrogate father to our niece. Afiza would post his medical aid card to me, and I'll be the one taking him to the doctors. And of course, Bill, Dr. Govender, put him on the nebulizer. He was a very chesty child, and always winter, the asthma and things. He'll sit in the nebulizer back of the room and get his shots of oxygen or whatever they gave him, prednisone, whatever it was, I don't know. And then I'll take him back, you know. And I still got that card, by the way. I still got his pouch at home. That's how freakish I can be when it comes to keeping things. So whenever you're ready, you can take it and keep it. I love history and social, where we get, where we are, why we're here, etc. We're going through, talking about the paper on the ground. So we're going through some old stuff. And your child, in case Imran and anyone else wants to know, Kamal, a lot of your father's personal, you know, then I think they wrote a lot of letters to each other. That stuff is with us. If you want to ever read it, the letters to India, letters to his sisters in India, it's all with us. And read that stuff. It is so amazing. It's history. It's family history. About how, you know, the one sister was talking about the future son was the brother, his nephew was going to get married, and her father was the oldest son, and so he wanted advice from him. This is 47 years ago. And your father was a very slow, he wouldn't write immediately. And he would take his time. I could see the distance between 3-4 weeks. Then she'll chastise him in Urdu. And he'll translate. And she's obviously a bright person, she could write English as well. And she'll say, why are you taking so long to write? I mean, my son wants to get married, he wants to make arrangements, and you're the big uncle, you're not saying anything, you know. And I enjoyed reading those letters. It was such an enriching moment for me to see someone showing the love for someone that they left so many years ago, and he hadn't seen because he only visited them later than that. So this thing about loving your family member, loving each other unconditionally, goes back way, way, way back in time. I mean, their father left 70, 80 years ago. And then I want to round up by talking about my family history. My cousin, you saw him in the picture, Reggie. He popped by a few weeks ago, stopped by, and he said, I got a birthday gift for you. And anything to do with history and heritage, I'd love. He went and did the research on our family tree. And he did, you can Google this thing, Heritage Trail, and he put together exactly where our grandparents fitted in our lives. Because we don't know who these people are. We only hear about them, we hear the names, we have no idea what they are. They are like, they could be strangers to us. And I discovered that, you know, my great granny came out here as a 1-year-old, you know, in 1881. You know, that my grandfather married my granny when he was about 47 or something, and she was 17. It was normal. It was you know, I had 6 kids, and he died at 16. She was 35. She had 6 years, and you know. So, if we think we have it hard bringing up our children, we ain't seen nothing. I mean, they had it 1,000 times more, and they had the dark days of apartheid and the prejudice of the Englishmen, even worse. Not today. I mean, the Boer, they treated us a little bit better, I think. But the Englishmen at that time were the worst, you know, you can imagine. And so this history that he gave me, he said, this is your gift. So every time something happens in your family, you go on the heritage side and you put it in, and it tells you everything. And he did it, by the way, if you're interested, by going to the Durban Documentation Center. It's based in Natal, in Maritzburg. They have every ship list of everyone that landed from Mauritius and India in that center in Natal and Malabar. Everyone. Ship. The English is so meticulous. They recorded every soul that died on the sea and every soul that landed, what religion you were, what caste you were, what you did, everything. So if you want to know about your family history, why you are what you are, why your name is what you are, go on that site. It's just amazing. So to me, being passionate about where you're coming from, and Richard, you will do that, I'm sure, because you want to do something there. That's living history as well. So I think 60 years is a bit of history, and I'm glad that we managed to create some fresh history, modern history in our family, and may it continue. I want to just thank everyone for being here, for making the time. My wife, Yosha, and her sister, Soraya, they put together this guest list because they had a particular reason for inviting people. So they were special to be invited. And I'm glad that, because I had some input, but not lots. So they have a good feel of who mattered in one's life. And I'm glad it turned out the way it did. You know, there are people that couldn't come because of illness and other situations, death and things. But I'm sure, and I got a lot of messages since the last few weeks, I'm sure that they meant well, and they are meaning well, even though they're not here as well. So I want to thank them in absentia. To Soraya and Azim for the wonderful, superb layout, food, the decor. Soraya, the decor, the young girls that are grown up now, they're the waiters. Chich always outdone himself with the food. And my brother, who, from what Yoshad says, Alex?
He did.
Yeah, he really drove them. I don't know, they were crazy around the bend or what. But that is how Jeff operates as well. So if you want to do something, do it properly. Otherwise, don't do it. Just go home, you know. And I think that should be a lesson for the youngsters today. If you don't do something, do it well. Others, don't bother. Figure about it. Just go home and think about what you're going to do next. Leave that moment aside if you don't want to do it properly. So thank you for the wonderful, you know, and it shows the care that you have for me and the family. And I appreciate that. To Jeff, your family, staff, for supporting you. To my children, Kashif, must say, you have potential as a public speaker there, I have to say. And I have to learn something. Rosha says, don't carry notes because you tend to talk too much. Rather read from a thing that's in front of you. And if you get stuck, then you can just switch it off and say, I'm done now, you know. Whereas, yeah, I'm tempted to carry on reading. So, to Alia, that's a little girl that was full of, like a pixie, you know, and she's still like that, although I think more on the prima donna side of a pixie, you know, the one that's calling the shots. Kind of prima donna. You know, daughters are daughters, and they will always be lovable. And I'm sure all the daughters in ours do the same thing to their dads. So that's the relationship we have as well. Get up in the morning, you get a text. Kashi won't do it. Safwan won't do it. Daddy, are you ready? After 6, I need to be at the hospital at 7:30. After 6, she's telling me already. So anyway, I don't have to be there after 7. I need to be there at 8 o'clock. So we can leave here at 8:20. I'm not going to wait outside this hospital. I want to walk straight in at 8 o'clock and go straight to my workstation. I mean, really? Somehow will it ever happen in real life? When you start working, that you're going to just get up from your Uber vehicle and walk straight to your workstation, open your file and start working. But that's how it is today. It's so different to go from you went to work the first day, you know, get a taxi or bus or whatever, and you rocked up. Whenever you make sure you're there very early, and you stood in the cold if you had to stand in the cold. That's the way it is today, you know. But it's just horses for courses. Everyone is getting on and doing their thing, and that's the thing. We did our thing in the 40s and 50s and 60s. Our kids are doing the same thing, and so I don't think we should feel bad about it. We can argue and fight and moan with them, but it's just a way of knocking them into shape, or straightening them out, whatever you're going to call it. Ridwan talks about his nephews and nieces and reminds us about their foibles and little fancies. And I think we should be doing more of that. Uncles and aunts should be doing more of that, reminding each other what they should not be doing and doing like our uncles and aunts do that. And I think if we did more of that, our families will be healthier and stronger, and will always, you know, grow up in a better and a way, in a more refined way as well. So I want to just mention lastly, Alex, you see those pictures you saw about our wedding and thing at Royal Delhi, 350 Rand thingy. We had a cheapy honeymoon. Tasneem. A very cheap honeymoon. We didn't get we didn't have a car to go all the way to wherever, you know, the hotels down the Cape. So they were going to Kangaroo Caves. And we all jumped in, my father, my mum, Kumari, and that is the honeymoon, you know. And because we didn't have enough space, you know, you can't obviously, you know, the hook cave or cave place where the hostel in New York. She ended up sleeping with Alex. Sleeping in the same bed as Alex, you know what I mean? Can you ever imagine it happening today? Any of that stuff? Impossible. You'll never ever, no one will even tolerate the thought. Your daughter, your son will not even want to think about you being on a holiday with them, for heaven's sake, on a honeymoon. Why? I mean, mommy, why are you even thinking that? Just forget about it, it'll never happen. But it happened, it was so spontaneous and natural because we were brought up like that. And if we carry on doing what we do with our own children, you'll also feel it normal to be closer to your children than far away across the road rather than next to each other. So don't feel shy when you have to tell them all the time, be on time, be there on time, remind them all the time, because our parents did it all the time. And we never ever grew up crookedly. I always tell my teachers, I said, you know, we were beaten up with a cane. Our principals give us 6 of the best. We all became straight as a pine tree. We didn't grow crooked. I don't have a tree that grows crooked, but if we did not grow like that. And today we threw the cane away, and our kids are supposed to grow straight. I don't know whether it's going to work. We'll see in the next generation whether it's worked or not. So the bamboo trees are growing better now than ever because they've been untouched. But I think our children are not getting the best out of that, taking away not the threat rather of getting it rather than actually eating now. Because now you can talk yourself blue in the face and nothing will happen as well. So Alex, you played a special role in our lives at the starting of our relationship. To everyone else that I've forgotten, Anand, to mention, you spoke about it, and my in-laws, Faye, up to today, make sure that I get my date loaf and little special snacks and things. I think that's so important that we have all this sharing of love and things. And whoever's turns next, whoever's birthday is next, whatever function is next, may it continue, the love carry on growing and may it be more spontaneous as we go along in years. Thank you for coming and enjoy whatever's left of the evening.
And Safwan wants to know what
Yeah, Safwan. Safwan buys shoes at Thread and Miller.
socks, happy socks?
Happy socks at Thread and Miller. Enough said. I think you know what I'm talking about. Yeah. This is mother's apple of the eye. And I'm just the guy who drives them around wherever they have to go. It's just like that, you know.
What time is his
Haircuts after 6 in the morning. I have to be on a Saturday morning or 6 o'clock to have his haircuts. And then a week later, another haircut if he has to. And in 2 weeks later, another haircut. The poor hairdresser is afraid when this guy walks in. And he's a guy that's close to 60. He says, you know, when this guy comes, I get nervous. Have you ever heard of that? Those of you who still have hair on your head, by the way. The hairdresser gets nervous because you know how fussy yourself. But it's just Siva smiling, and I'm sure it's tickling memory to and someone else, you know. But just the way, if you look at your father, how he dressed up, your grandfather, if you watch them, they were superb dresses. Bow tie, kitty bow tie, suit and tie, am I right, Azim? They were magnificent dresses. The best shoes, the best clothing. They never look shabby in a jeans or whatever the case is. So I think if our kids want to dress neatly, if that's the style, and dress well, good, then it shows that they have the good etiquette of life and how you must present yourself is there. So it's fine. Someone's bank balance is going to be less. And you share the burdens, I don't mind. Thank you, everyone.
Before I do, excuse me, before I do a vote of thanks, I want to just say to my sister Dilshad, exceptional speech. Well timed. I'm sure most of you are aware that Dilshad and Kamil will be going on an overseas holiday soon. So with a speech like that, I'm sure that pocket money will increase. On behalf of Dilshad and Kamil, I'd like to take the opportunity of thanking the following people. Jeff for the venue and planning and putting this wonderful function together for Kamil this evening.
Yeah.
Kumari and Anand for taking the time to travel all the way from Durban to grace us with your presence. Much, much appreciated. It's always a pleasure having you around, Kumari. Since the day we met, we've bonded, we've become family. Suraya and the team, Kans Events, from Dilshad and Kamil, job well done. Thank you very much. An apology for all the ups and downs, you know, all the decisions you had to make on behalf of Dilshad. Yeah. No, top delegator. Lucky to have a husband like Kamil that accept all those delegations. To Hafiz Azim for the wonderful meals that was supplied here this evening. Not forgetting one and all the remaining guests that have attended here, for without you, this function would never be the success it is today. Thank you once again on behalf of Kamil and Dilshad. Enjoy the rest of the evening. Don't forget desserts, tea. Enjoy.
And you look around you, lots of interesting things happen even now. The problem is too many of us have our heads buried in cell phones and social media. So we kind of don't notice interesting things that go on around us. So we walk around oblivious to things happening around us. We don't study human nature. We certainly don't read I'm a lecturer. Besides being private practice, I teach medical students. So, and Julian was at pains to talk about whether the kids of today are going to grow up straight or crooked, in a sense. And I teach postgraduates, and I teach medical students, usually the final years and the fourth years and fifth years. And I can tell you that we're struggling. So clearly we have a problem. But one of the big issues we have is that children don't read. Students don't read. So anyway, so if you take your head out of the cell phone, you'll see lots of interesting things going around. So we are lucky, 50 years ago or whatever, we weren't distracted by televisions and we weren't distracted by cell phones. So we're able to kind of really smell the roses, as it were, and see things happening around us. So anyway, back to the story of the milk marathon. So Jeffrey, of all of them, I was, I think, the only athletic one. He was a bookworm. I was a bookworm too, but I was athletic as well. He was not an athletic person. He was a bit of a bookworm as well. So one day, I don't know what really got into him, and he decided that he was going to do some form of exercise, in a sense. So which side of the bed he got up from, and he decided he was going to attempt what we called those days, this is now like 40 odd years ago, the milk marathon. Okay, that was in Chatsworth. And here's somebody who's never done a stitch of exercise in his life before. Scrawny legs in the old Afrikaner white shorts. So he attempts to do this milk marathon.
27 kilometers.
27 kilometers, yeah. Okay, walking. Not running, walking. Thankfully, yes. So he does this thing and paid the price dearly thereafter. I don't have to tell you what happened to him. It was not a very pleasant sight seeing him stick thin legs in that horrible looking shorts. So that's a milk marathon man. Anyway, after that, he compounded his ways. The story I have to tell you. It was told at my birthday, but you guys don't know it. He's not this saint that he looks to be. He really is an amazing person. But very courageous. That was one courageous thing he decided to do, the milk marathon. After that, of course, he never did anything else. Except now he does a bit of weightlifting in his garage at home, I think. Some exercise at home. So he decides. Now, if you've met Mr. Manikam Shanmugam Govender, you've never met a most upright man in your life. Will strike the fear of God into you just by looking at him. You know, he's that kind of man. He made an amazing principal, actually, of schools. He was the chairman of the school governing body. And of course, he and I were loggerheads all the time because I had hair as long as this in school. Worse, I was the head prefect. And those days, of course, they won't allow you to have long hair. And even worse, if you had long hair and then you wore your tie down here, that was absolutely taboo. So I wore my tie here and I was head prefect and had long hair. My only saving grace was that I was quite good at school and I was an athlete. So Mr. Basa was like kind of on my side, but Mr. Govender would keep having a go at him for allowing me to do this kind of stuff as a head prefect, you see. Worse, of course, than that was the fact that I was best friends with his sons. So he had a great time trying to tell me to mend my ways. But anyway, why do I tell you this? He was an extremely strict man. And if you were going to learn lessons from someone in life, he was the kind of man you would learn lessons from that left a lasting impression on you for the rest of your life. All the things you heard I don't even know that they were driven or said with enough force to really, for you to really understand exactly what the car was about. But anyway, that car you saw on the screen, that beautiful pale blue Valiant, brand new, beautiful pale blue Valiant, was his pride and joy, which he got after many, many, many years. This young man here decided one morning while we were in Chatsworth High to borrow this car out of the garage without a license, of course. We all had no licenses. So he takes this car after it had rained the previous night and there was sand all over the damn road. So he brings this car to school. In school, three of us, high school. We weren't even in matric then.
And you guys were passengers, right?
No. We had nothing to do with this initial thought of borrowing the car. So we just arrived in school, and then after school, of course, he offered us a ride in the car. We foolishly accepted. Anyway, so as you know, when you kind of doing this kind of thing, you drive a little bit faster than you ought to drive. It's like driving a GTI and driving a Toyota.
It wasn't fast, man.
You're kind of forced to drive the GTI the way it's supposed to be driven. So we go into Silver Glen, and how this was done, whether it was extreme skill at maneuvering this car, or whether it was just sheer bad luck, I don't know. But this car actually leaves the road and goes between two light poles and ends up in a ditch. And the light poles are exactly 1 centimeter on either side of this car without touching the car. And of course, there's only us, 3 people in the car. No money, no nothing, school bags, and here's this brand new motor car. So, of course, the only person we could film, in serious trouble. I could use stronger words, but I won't. A public forum. And the only person we could film, thankfully by then Kumari had married Malan. So we phoned Malan, and he came and bailed us out with the tow truck. So we took this car back out, went and parked it quietly in the garage, wiped it down, and then of course it was the enviable task of breaking this piece of bad news. This is where I learned to break bad news for my practice afterwards. It was left to me to break the bad news to him after that. And ever since then, all the bad news after that, I wrote to him. You know, so, yeah. So that was the second piece of
That's enough.
an anecdote for Jeffrey. Yeah. But anyway, just very shortly, so we went to Chatsworth High, and then we matriculated. I became prefect. He was in Chatsworth High as well. And then we matriculated, and he never did mathematics, physical science, physics, sorry. I did physics, and somebody raised this point about, did he even do physics? And yet he taught physics. He didn't do physics, I did physics. And actually, I even did additional maths. That was the first year additional maths came out.
Yeah.
Of course, true to form, we all failed additional maths. Every single one of us failed. You know, those of you who don't know what additional maths is, it's got equations as long as that wall to that wall, you know. We never understood the word. It was introduced by Dr. Julian Govender, who's the circuit inspector. It's the first time he ever introduced this damn thing, and we all failed it anyway. So we matriculated in 1974, and then of course, what was interesting, Julian's father took us to go register at UDW. And those days, of course, we got merit passes. Now, merit passes like some really good pass, you know, those days. But medical school only accept 12. Julian wanted to do medicine, I wanted to do medicine. Clearly, Jeffrey wanted to do medicine thereafter. And Harvey wanted to do medicine. Lots of stories. Anyway, so we go to UDW because they were only taking 12 people in medical school. So you hear all these stories now about how bad the medical school is, and children not being accepted, and they have to go overseas, etc. And our medical school gets 8,800 applicants for 250 positions in KwaZulu-Natal. So from 8,000 applicants, we shortlist 880, and from the shortlist, we accept 200, and actually it's 200, maximum 240. Clearly, not every person can get into medical school. Those days in 1974, only 12 Indian students were accepted. Clearly, a lot of us didn't get places, even though we qualified. So we had to go to UDW to go and do BSc in this great big G lecture theatre, 450 students, of which only 4 or 5 would be accepted into medical school. So we go the first day with Julian's father, but that's how he was, you know, an aggressive man. You must do things now, quickly, get it done now, no time for tomorrow, you know, and don't waste time. And I remember him shouting at us, you know, why you're taking so long, shouting at you as well. But that's the way he was, you know, you do things now. And so unfortunately we did BSc before, and I said I taught Julian physics. I taught quite a lot of people physics at that time, because I did physics, a lot of people didn't do physics in the trick. And unfortunately, Julian didn't get a place in medical school, I did, and I always maintained Julian made a better doctor than a lot of us. But I'm glad he didn't do medicine in the end. Look where he is today and how many people have benefited from what he's done and achieved. So that's you know, some of the history of what has happened. But thankfully, you know, Jeffrey came along, and we've been together pretty much all our lives thereafter as well. We get to see each other quite often. But it's been a long journey. It's been a great journey. We've been together as individuals, as families. We've lived in each other's homes. You know, Jeffrey told you the story about Julian, I think it was. No, Jeffrey told you the story about Victor and Reggie, and people were taken into the home besides the 3 other children. I was also an additional burden on the family as well, because we lived in each other's homes, you know. I mean, we had Harvey, we had Julian, we had Jeffrey, and then there was me. Okay, I was the tiniest one. But when the mother used to cook lunch, you needed to have 1.5 loaves of bread and a big pot of curry like this for those growing youngsters. Trust me. So what Kashif is doing now is nothing different to what we did then, you know. So that's the way it was. You know, those days you had growing adolescent teenagers. But anyway, they were interesting times. We had great times. It's wonderful to reflect on it. And it's all about, you know, we all have friends. All of us have friends here. But the big question is, do we have enduring friendships? Friendships that can endure 50 years plus. I don't think too many people can say that. Enduring friendships that go across families, children. My kids communicate more with them from London and Joburg on what? FaceTime, what? FaceTime and WhatsApp and all these things.